Yeah, welcome to the Uncut with X. On my right is Bridget. On my left, Owino from.
Unajonga right left yako?
Yeah.
Kuna dem.
Yeah.
Nishaanza ma story.
It's okay.
So I was moving out from Georgia.
Yeah.
Alafu my dad was the one coming for me. Alafu ajui mali naishi. Nika confused kumwambia right na left. So he took a left turn while essentially nilimwambia I take the right one.
Yeah.
Ai, nilizungusha mzae.
No, right.
Anyway, so literally nikitaka kujua right left yangu, I usually pretend that I'm writing so that I see this is my right.
I think I do the same thing because actually I'm holding the microphone with my right hand, so it's easy to use one to refer the other one. So it's easier that way.
Okay.
Then I started with my
right,
going to the left. Yeah. So on my right again is Bridget. On the left is Owino from the GLM Podcast. Yeah, how are you guys doing?
You're amazing. You're doing well. We're so excited. Tumengoja sana. Yeah, it's good to be a guest actually.
Owino?
Yeah, for once.
For the second time.
We're usually the ones asking questions.
Bro, it's the second time.
You've been to another podcast before?
No,
Radio,
not podcast,
actually.
but a radio. So
Radio 254.
I think I saw it when I was looking you guys up.
Umetustalk wewe. Hizo ni picha za 1962.
It's giving celebrity.
I think it's part of the job for you to sort of look at who you're interviewing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the first time I'm having two females on the podcast, two women.
Young, beautiful, able.
Identify as women.
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Identify as a young
Me,
girl.
I don't.
A young girl.
You don't?
I identify as a beautiful woman.
Because it's 2024 and
you have to be.
People identify as different things.
Yeah.
What do you think about transgender men identifying as women?
I'm not too confused. Please get your shit together.
Girl, go for it. If you feel like a woman, go for it. But you can't completely be a woman.
What about when it comes to sports? Because in other countries, some transgender women are, which are just men, are participating in women's sports.
Well,
Transgender women participating in women's sports.
Yeah.
Transgender
I'm assuming they have more strength, more
okay.
testosterone.
Like have they undergone surgery kabisa ama one identify
most of them,
too?
because 2024 it's purely just you wake up and identify as something you want to identify as.
Wait a minute. I thought if you're transgender, it means literally you have body parts.
Well, you
belong to both.
Like you umefanywa surgery and
this is how they
everything.
do it since you're in 2024. You identify as a transgender. Then you now identify as a woman again. It's allowed, I mean.
It's confusing, I mean.
It's really confusing actually.
Yeah.
But me, I feel like Nini, you can't completely be a woman if you haven't been born naturally. And as much as you're doing everything, Nini, I don't know, you're trying to practice, but there's someone who's naturally a woman. You're trying to practice, but you do you. But
isn't it kind of offensive to women, like when you sort of identify as a woman yet you're not?
Wacha tu niseme hivi.
Isn't it offensive in a way? Like Dave Chappelle gives this example.
Yeah.
You are a black man and you squint your eyes a little bit and go to the Chinese and say, hey, I identify as a Chinese. Isn't it kind of offensive?
Yeah, it is. Because you can't just wake up and decide that you want to be this and you want us all to conform to what you've decided for yourself. Nika leo niamke niseme sitio and I pick another name for myself. Then I expect all my friends who have known me since childhood to start referring to me as that.
yeah.
It's unfair also. So somehow I'm usually happy that we are in this conservative side of the world somehow.
Yeah.
Where you won't say something off the top of your head, not meaning anything offensive, and it's taken as offensive or umekasirisha mtu juu you didn't refer to them with the right pronouns. I think I'm more on the conservative side,
liberal side
than the liberal side, where we wake up and choose who we are. And I think there are more things to life. Like, we have more things to achieve, greater goals to achieve. We cannot just center our whole identity as to whether you're a man, woman, or mid, or I don't know which edge of the spectrum you are in.
Okay.
It's quite a debate, but do you think that Gen Zs will change it? Because I see a lot of Gen Zs are liberals.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll change it, or it's just a phase and we'll end up like the millennials and the rest?
Millennials. In my opinion, I feel like in as much as we're liberal, others are also open-minded. Yeah, like, I'm not going to necessarily agree with what you're doing. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, but I really don't have to be rude or disrespectful about it. You just respect it. In as much as I don't understand, like, I wake up today and I say identify as a glass, I'm like, okay, go you. I really wouldn't get where you're coming from, your point of view, what has made you made that decision. But like, I'll be like, okay, cool, you do you. At the end of the day, siniwewe, itani affect haji. So the liberal part of the Gen Zs, I don't think it's going to change anytime soon, which I like it, because we feel judged, because I don't know your story. Do I really want to know? I don't know, but I respect it. You do whatever you want to do, but it's not a must for me to agree. The point is, you just respect it. I don't have to agree. Oh, you're a glass, bro, you have mwili unakwaje, like, it doesn't make sense, but I'll have to respect it. You know where you're coming from. Doesn't make sense.
Everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Yeah. You're entitled to your own opinion, but I don't necessarily have to agree with it.
Moving on to some less sensitive topics. So we're going to talk about the doctor's strike. And before we go to details of doctor's strike, I wanted us to talk about our experiences as interns and attachees.
Okay.
Because the strike mostly came from the government not employing the interns and interns rather on time, and also reducing their salary by 80%. So
that's a lot.
We here are students, and at some point, I'm sure you have been an intern or an attaché. Like, how was your experience? Yeah, give us the story.
Well, start by correcting that you're not a student. I'm some of your students.
First of all, I'm not a student. Well, nitarudi shule eventually, but like, at the moment, I'm not a student. I'm a graduate. But first of all, when the doctors are striking at tunalipwa salary ya 47,000 hiyo kidogo. Wengine tu tulilipwa na exposure. So na chai. Hata chai hiri bro, actually bora umeland, right? We have brought you to the industry, you have learned. That's the thing. So, well, I really wouldn't feel for them, because I don't know their industry. I don't know really what goes on, especially in the medical school, and why it was reduced, and why they had they know why they're tetaring. So me necessarily siwezi elewa juu mukinipa hiyo 47,000, I'll be happy.
Life changing, man.
Like, it's life changing. I'm thinking about it. Sina bills, sina nini, I still have supportive parents, and they're just giving me good money like that. But what was the question?
The question was, you tell us about your experience.
My experience as an intern.
Yeah, have you ever been one?
Yeah, I have been, actually, twice. Not so good, honestly speaking, I'm not gonna lie. Why? I never liked the supervisor. The supervisor was projecting. I don't know why you're mad, you're sad. Like, I feel like we have our own problems. So sort yourself out. Me, I've come here to learn, but I don't want to stay here. Don't worry, I'm not like a competition or anything, but like, I really never had a good I wouldn't say I had a good experience right now. At least I can speak about it because I'm done. The other time, because in our episode also tunaongea kuhusu like internship horror stories, and at that time we were recording the episode. I was interning, so I have to filter. Nisitolewe kwanza ma nipe max kidogo. But now, I'd say my experience was not so good. First of all, I never liked the place. I just went to the place because I just wanted to finish school. I get the grade and graduate and move. So yeah, I did that. I finished there. That place was not so good. The environment, first of all, it was ilikuwa tu mbaya. The experience was not bad. How can I can't even explain it. It's just that I'd say I never just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Paid?
No, nakwambia tumelipwa tu na exposure. Well,
hata chai yakuwa napewa.
Hata chai tukua tunapewa.
Where was it?
Okay. Ooh. Should I say it?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. I'm just.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Okay. Where I never liked it. It was in Kibera actually.
Okay.
So yeah. First of all, it was in Kibera. It was bad. We were sharing loos, men and women, one loo. It was bad. Hata sikuwahi enda hizo loo kusema tu kweli. That was the first attachment. Now the second attachment, at least now I was being paid. It was good. The second internship, it was a paid internship. It was a good paid internship. But the problem is, it was just the employees. Like, I don't know why there's some people who are so bitter. I don't like. Why can't you be like it costs nothing to be just a nice person. Like, I've asked you a question. I'm here to learn. That's why I'm an intern. Like, I don't have any experience. I've come to get the experience. So I don't know why you're so strict. I'm not strict per se, but harsh. You're giving me things I don't understand, and I'm coming to you unanikelelesha, and I have to understand. Ilikuwa so like uelewe sielewi, unionyeshe ndio I also do a good job, So ilikuwa tu, we're just there, at least let me just be there for the experience. At least I have like a stipend or something. But please, and considering ilikuwa tu some weird media stations, and bro,
What about you, Owino? Ever been an intern or an attaché?
Yeah, I've been an attaché. I just recently cleared school, so bado sijafanya internship. So in my third year,
you guys are paid before you tell us.
I got one that was paid. Nice. But they were calling it a transport stipend, so it's not a salary that's being taxed and all. You need to make sure you get home safe, enough money for you to have good lunch and go back and home and come back to work. I'd say that it was a really good space, actually. It was in an art center. No. Just the whole culture of the workplace and how open-minded people were, excited to hear what Gen Zs have to bring in the table. It was an art center called Kilimani. The Go Down Art Center. So it's a collection of artists who I'd say people what wanna paint, others are making music. So it's the art center has collaborated with the artists to give them space to do their work and that kind of thing. So you can already tell that it's a dynamic space already. People are thinking differently. Artists do think differently. So it was quite nice. I enjoyed that period. I actually did it for 3 months. I was supposed to do 2 months. Kasema sana rudi home kufanya nini. Yeah, it was so fun. I got to paint. I used to make art during lunch times. There was a garden, so they used to like vuna food, then choma mahindi. There used to be nyama choma Mondays. It was so nice. Like, I'd go back. I'd do my attachment again. So actually, it was a good experience. And Mina, actually, I'm pro for what doctors, the interns are doing on the streets. Like, it's definition of I know my worth. And the fact that they have a union that's backing them up,
it's quite cool.
It's quite cool because these spaces, people can create such spaces where I'm excited to come to work because I got to experience that, and I know it's possible. So what I usually tell myself is that whenever I have an organization or company, I really try to make it as vibrant, especially for the young ones coming in. Because I've seen the good side.
Also, they like give you opportunities to make decisions and all.
So since I'm in the design and architectural field, like your ideas were so valid. If you are proposing this instead of that, let's design this, let's not go this way. You'd actually get a chance to present, and they listen to you.
So you think that the doctors also, the intern doctors rather, deserve their pay?
Yes, I do. Yes, because I don't know the reasoning behind that specific figure, but I know doctors do a lot.
Actually, the complaint was they were initially paid a larger amount, and it was reduced by 80%, which is sort of against the labor laws, because you're not supposed to reduce someone's salary. Because a lot of people, I myself at first didn't have enough information, because I was like, 70,000, that's a lot of money
for
in our economy. That's a lot of money, but getting the context that they go through the normal attachment that everyone has to go through while they're doing their post-grad or under, and also part of it, they must do this internship in order for them to graduate. So the government was not posting them on time, and they were not being paid well. And the ones that were paid, the ones that were already absorbed, were not even being paid on time. So it was quite chaotic.
I saw them on this. I think I have a couple of friends who are medical students, UN. I'm telling you, they used to post for us at assisting, like they're on the streets. And like it takes more than courage for you to actually do that. And I liked that they had backing of OG doctors, their medical union. Because all it takes is for us to agree and unite as people of a certain profession that we are going to fight for this relentlessly, regardless of what will happen. We are setting the bar this high, and people have to do what we're saying.
Which actually begs the question: do you think other professions should also fight for that? Because I mean, there are other professions which are also, we know our, as you've termed it, we know what we deserve.
Do you think it's about time
for other professions to fight for their interns also?
The question is, will they even fight for them? Because if you're mean to the interns, that fight if you can't even be nice.
It's them themselves being mean.
Well, I feel like if your union too, if like there's the union, then we can even have the mnakaa tu chini na mna decide na mnaenda mnateta. But by the time inafika hapo, because I feel like by the time for the doctors on a strike, it's actually serious. It's serious. So, sijui manze.
So the High Court also ruled the strike to be illegal because they're claiming that some doctors need to be in hospital. Like, what's your opinion? Because it's quite a sensitive career, simply because the lives of people are at stake. In one way, you're fighting for your labor right, as it should be, but on the other hand, there are people's lives at stake. Like, what's your opinion on that?
Wait, just to get this, while they were striking, they were not in the hospital, so
they're not in the hospitals.
Maybe the nurses were doing the most that they could. Causing backlog.
But the courts ruled that if the strike was to continue, there must be doctors on ground to offer services to emergency cases, because it's quite a sensitive career, because lives of people are also at stake.
True.
So what's your opinion on that? Do you think that should be done, or they should just stay and not let the government use them?
Oh, well, I think when you're in such professions where a lot is dependent on whether you show up to work or not, you will show to work and do what you're supposed to do, but at the same time, you're realizing you're not an angel. You're not there to save people every single day at the expense of my bills, the bills I have to pay, everything. My kids are in school and there's a lot to be done, but I'm I'm saving lives every single day.
Yeah.
So I do think, I'm actually convinced that by the time they're planning this strike, it's usually like there's been a series of triggers, a series of promises that have not been fulfilled.
True.
Yeah.
So, because I think being a doctor is a calling. Like,
It
if
really
you can go
is.
and stand your roof your hospitali kila siku, bro, it's a calling. It really is a calling. So, you can push someone to the edge till they want to make you feel the pain of what they're losing for them to go back to work. At times, you can't be humanitarian the whole time at the expense of what you need in life.
Yeah.
So the court ruling telling them to go back to work, I know the court is also thinking for the country. It's not thinking about specific individuals who want a salary raise. But I think these things can be solved. Si government iko na pesa.
Bana, tumpeane pesa.
I don't think they want to do that. I mean, they're in a position to do so, but they just don't want to do it because SRC, which is like the commission that's responsible for salaries for public servants, says that they cannot give them any other funding. They cannot give any other funding. But if you look how these guys are spending money, it gives a little bit of doubt because you can't pity them and say, they're really struggling because they're overspending taxpayers' money. So it's kind of a dilemma there. So we're also going to talk about the floods. So there's been nationwide flooding everywhere. In most parts of the world, actually, there's been flooding. So there was this controversial debate on Twitter. It was between Murkomen, who is the CS for transport, and Larry Madowo. So Murkomen was saying that Larry should limit posting negative news about the country. What do you think?
Why should we glamorize things that are not there? Like, we are calling the government out, or we are calling the people who are responsible for it, because I believe, I'm sorry guys, but from next time ta vote kusema ukweli.
But then you guys don't vote because young people are the least voters and we are the majority.
And it's really unfortunate. And it's quite a disappointment because, like right now, you don't even feel like you have a say because you said, you can say you have a say because, I elected these people because I expected so much from them. Now, I really even didn't vote. So, nile unakatu. Unasema nini na hukuvote nyamaza. So, I'm just going to air out my opinion anyways. Why we are not going to glamorize things? Like, why are we going to be happy with the bare minimum and you can do so much? Like, tuseme kama nini? Umepewa watoto fare kurudi shule because of the floods. Mtengeneze hiyo drainage system. Like, the things that can be done to avoid these big things. Like, it's just weird. Why do you want us to praise things that we are not going to give credit where it's not due? So I don't think unafaa kutetesha Larry. Like, he's doing that too, motivating the people to wake up and do the work because you don't want to be in the bad books of the people, so it motivate you to work. So
what about you, Wina? Do you think that Larry should say nice things? I mean, about the drought.
Of course, the floods. Well, of course not. And he says that he'll present news as it is. Very unfiltered as it is. Kama JKIA kunanyesha huko ndani, he will record a video and put, because that's what it's happening.
Exactly.
He's not trying to concoct any story or news is as is. But I was thinking about this whole flood situation, and I was, Bridger has said matters of constructing better drainage and that kind of thing. But I think I did a unit in uni. It was to do with disaster management and planning, since whatever I was studying was closely related to urban planning and seeing how a city and an urban space can work. When Nairobi has failed on so many levels. But then still, one key takeaway that I got from the unit is that it is usually quite difficult to plan for disasters.
Okay.
Because even if we knew that we're expecting heavy rainfall or heavy downpour, it's not easy to gauge how hard it will hit people till it actually happens.
Yeah.
So in as much as the government could have made certain decisions to maybe reconstruct certain drainages or do 1, 2, 3 things, they could only have prevented little.
Okay.
Because right now I know at the dams, Kina Masinga, and they are full to the brim, they're overflowing. You see, these are not things that we could have foreseen. Maybe tungejua tu kutakuwa na maji hapa na hapa, but you cannot plan for disaster effectively. You cannot say that we managed this disaster to the fullest. So
I think Mwafrika had the same sentiments. He was posting on Twitter that he thinks, because flood is more of a natural disaster. Because people were saying that the Nairobi governor, Sakaja, was irresponsible for not doing enough for Nairobi. But Mwafrika was claiming that flood is a natural disaster and you cannot, at some extent, control it. That's why it's happening everywhere in the world. So he was saying that creating a good drainage system won't really help
very
stop.
True.
You can't stop flooding. It's like an earthquake. You can only try and mitigate, but
quickly,
not stop the entire thing from happening.
But it's better putting an effort instead of doing nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, that is true. But that's something you'll do after the disaster has happened. Because even if we construct better drainage systems, where are they flowing to? They're flowing towards the rivers. The rivers are already full and they're displacing people. That's not something we could have prevented. Like a river is very natural and it flows however it wants to, and depending on the terrain of so there's only so much they could do. But then with regards to disaster management, it means that there has to be quick reaction whenever. It should not be slowed down. Watu wafai kulala nje a whole night. I saw some people were even in their roofs for a whole night for the government to actually see it on the news so that they react. So I think that would be the place where they've failed.
There's no one to rescue the people.
No one is rescuing. And once we know that there's floods and it's going to continue for the next couple of weeks, there has to be clear measures in place. Sika hiyo story ya kuambia watoto wasiende shule at 1 a.m. like that was just too bad. Why would you do such a thing? So I'd say the problem with the whole flood situation is that there's slow reaction.
It's really slow. Really slow. By the way, do you think that Sakaja is doing a nice job in terms of city management?
Oh, child.
I'm not on Sakaja's side. Baba Dimples.
I thought you were on his side.
For the looks, he is a good-looking man. Like, props to him. And when alimtengeneza, he'll take the time that was needed. He was not created in a hurry. But in terms of delivery and all, I know for sure that he has not been, kumekuwa na a lot of complaints that he's not showing up to the meetings where he should be in and making the decisions that should be made. I think he really needs to check on that, whether you're good looking or not. Like, just show up to the Senate meetings.
You can do everything for the bodies.
Yeah, like go discuss whatever needs to be discussed for the county. Because I do know for sure that there are decisions that can't be made unless he has given a go ahead, and him not showing up means we are delaying that. Still on slow reaction. Unaweza pata watu walilala kwa roof juu Sakaja alikuwa sijui ameenda wapi ashiki simu. Like it can't be that way. So but I'm glad that the interview na Yvonne Okwara, she really called him out on that.
That interview was interesting.
She was on his neck na, trying to figure out why you're not attending Senate meetings, why you're not going for the energy committee meetings. You could call an explosion ya embakasi, ya gas. Why are you not showing up? So I did love that bit. And if at all he's not showing up to the meetings, that really needs not to be happening.
Nairobi, it's the reason why Nairobi is flooding might be the natural and unstoppable disaster. But do you think part of it is people are building buildings in places where rivers are supposed to pass.
By all means.
Yeah.
By all means. Hapa mi ya kwanza hapa ndo naweza shine. Juu nimesoma
Yeah.
vitu za fulani.
Wacha architecture tuambie.
I studied landscape architecture.
Yeah.
So we really do a lot of case studies on Nairobi's estates. We actually, in third year, we did an estate in Nairobi Dam estates, borders Kibera and a bit of Langata.
Yeah.
So we did it as a site to be redesigned. Okay. And Nairobi Dam, it's not like a dam that you're thinking about at a huge bulks of water.
Yeah.
Imekuwa neglected with time. So in a case, it just looks swampy. The water is smelly actually because it's stagnant water. Yeah. There's hyacinths. People are planting domas there to make a living. Yeah. And I'm telling you, dam inaisha hapa na kuna nyumba ya mabati hapa. Like literally as we were going to sites, there were houses that were submerged. Because tulienda last year, still on the rainy season, but haikuwa like this heavy floods that we're having this year. So people are really not respecting the riparian land, the area close to the river. Because by all building regulations, you're supposed to leave a certain distance. For some areas, itakuwa 30 meters from the river. For some, 15 meters. It depends on how wide the river can flow, like given checking previous statistics and how the water behaves from time to time. Yeah. So kuna yenye utapata, you are supposed to leave a 15-meter distance from the edge of the river. For some, it's 30. Ukienda Nairobi Dam, and especially the area Kibera and all, kuna hata wajacha 1 centimeter. Wanaishi kwa dam hapo ndani. So of course,
which is risky.
Watu kama hao, I know for sure they can't be living there right now. Because now there's a lot of downpour from the upper parts of the city coming all the way. Yeah. So we've failed a lot. We have laws that are good and can be implemented, but they're not being implemented.
No one is following them. Yeah. So on also floods, Eric Omondi has been active. I don't know if you've seen him.
He really has.
Do you think he's eyeing for a political seat? Like, because he's doing a lot of goodwill.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends with his intention at the end of the day. But as long as he's delivering, why not go for it? Because, action speaks louder than words. You say, I'll do this. At least he's doing it. And like, hata kama ni kukampeni, atakuwa like, I've done this. If you bring me in, I'll even do more. And like, it looks so promising because he's actually doing something. So I feel like even if probably he's doing it, eyeing for a seat, well and good. As long as you're doing something, it's better than doing nothing, just giving empty promises. Then when you enter, you forget everything you said. It doesn't even make sense.
But do you think people will take him seriously? Because he's quite struggling with that. Because most of the videos he does, people think they are skits. Do you think at some point people will take him seriously? The way, remember Wajakoya's time, the way people never took him seriously.
Yeah.
Like everyone thought he was a joke. And maybe in his mind he was a candidate
serious for real.
Visions. Yeah. So do you think people will change their perspective on him?
On Eric and what he's doing.
Yeah.
I think people... it's because he's coming from a background that's we are not used
so
to
political,
seeing. And it's comedy and he's an influencer, one of the most followed people in this country. So I see where people are coming from, thinking that it's for clout and it's for views and but what I'm thinking is, whether it's for clout or for views or for whatever it is, people are still getting help.
Imagine.
You have a governor and an MCA at your place who is doing nothing.
Absolutely
Even if they were to chase clout using you guys, you'd still benefit, So I think about him wanting a seat in government. I don't think I'd want him to.
Really?
Yeah. Because I feel like when you get into the system...
You change.
You somehow change. Like, you won't be the only one who is standing out all the time.
Okay.
I don't think he will be able to be an activist as much as he is right now. Yeah. And first of all, these guys have so many meetings. They're traveling a lot of times out of the country.
Okay.
They're doing so much at a policy level. They're not on the ground. So I think him getting into government as a governor, as a senator, and we'll definitely see a reduction in whatever he's doing. So I think it will be good for him to fight from the sidelines.
It's the way people prefer when Raila is not in government.
Because when you are there, you have to conform to what is happening, whether you like it or not. You will. It'll be Duvaisuti when the government, when the parliamentary sitting the whole day, and you know very well in your constituency, 62 people have died because of water. Now you will be Dukayapo. You see, it's kind. It beats the purpose.
But in Kenya, it's quite twisted because MPs actually have a budget to construct roads and everything, and an entire CDF budget to do bursaries. Because in other places, legislatures are strictly legislatures. Like your role is to make the laws. Because what the problem about that is, because I've seen it with, let me give an example of Kikuyu constituency.
Okay.
So the MP who is I've forgotten his name. So the MP does a lot of work in terms of roads, CDF. But when it comes to now laws, he does create bad laws, like the finance bill, 2022-2023 finance bill. So they do these bad laws, but when they do these other things, people think that they're actually helping them. But on the other hand, they are really not helping them. So my take has always been for legislatures like MPs, senators, and MCAs not to have a fund at all. Like their role should simply be making laws, and how we rate them should be on which law they have made. Like if it's floods, like have you made any law that prohibits people from building, buildings in certain places or not? So it's quite a controversial one, but I don't think we are ready for it.
For sure.
I don't think we're ready for it, because there's a time they had the High Court had removed the CDF funding, and the MPs were saying that they won't vote any bill in until that money is returned
So
they had to return it back and for everything to go as planned.
MPs have a lot of power.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I think it's something we'll figure out. So right now it's MPs that do legislation and implementation of whatever it is in their constituencies.
So for MCAs, it's at the county level, because of devolution. The county has the right to make their own laws, but it's restricted to some certain level. They can only make laws about the counties. They literally pass their own finance bill on how much parking will be and all that. But for the MPs, it's on a national level. So their job is mainly to make laws for the entire country, but they act as representatives. So whatever law I push on Parliament should be what you guys want. My constituency, that will benefit my constituency. But what happens is I'm an MP under this party, so I'll have to serve my
party's interests.
And their interests. So it's quite corrupt. That's why I think anyone who enters politics, it's kind of hard for them to fight for people, because now you have someone telling you what to do.
That's why with Eric, I'm saying it will be hard for him to remain independent and autonomous with his thoughts and everything that he wants to do.
So, he should just be there as a challenge to the government.
Yeah, some people are meant to be like that. It's like you remember when Boni was trying it, the activist, and he failed. I think it was a nice thing that he actually failed, because the moment you enter the system, you won't be more of an activist. You'll have to wear the MP hat and try.
You can't call out your own government.
You can't really call it out. Yeah, this has been an interesting one.
Okay, that's interesting. Actually, I'm learning a lot. Nimezea udaku.
Udaku za TikTok.
Udaku za TikTok. So this is new and actually very interesting.
Yeah, politics can be interesting.
It really is.
Yeah, so
I think I was to say also, I also didn't vote.
You also didn't vote.
Apologize.
Why did you guys vote?
I had my own reasoning.
Didn't vote, but
I was 18 at the time. We voted in August.
August 2022.
Meaning I'd just received my ID in June
in 2022, we know.
Yeah. Tulikuwa 20.
Yeah, you guys
Oh,
are okay.
interesting. Well, this is what I have to say. I was not in any way knowledgeable on the political
True,
space.
manze.
If I was to make a decision at that time, it would have been influenced by my parents or things I've selectively seen on the news. Because you know, so on the news, you see what they've decided to present on
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I had no background on political history and what the specific party stands on.
Yeah.
So I knew for sure that if I was going to vote, ingekuwa influenced by and not my own thoughts. It would not be my own thoughts doing this. But I think I've tried to be invested and actually this is the first time where we are able to observe what a government does without being in boarding school. Not for the longest time we were in boarding school. And when you're in school, you don't watch news for sure. You can watch
You're so
anything external
detached.
ni entertainment. You're listening to music. So like fresh out of high school, what decision was I to make at that time?
100.
Labda kuna tu, I know their parents were going to vote Ruto, go vote for so and so. So maybe if that was the case, that would have happened. But I think I'm very intentional to cast a vote in 2027.
Me too.
Because now I do see, for the first time, Nico, I'm outside. I see that taxes do this and this to this and these people. If the government does not do this then follows. So you're able to take a stand and your own independent stand.
Yeah, I think I'll also vote. I'll also vote because I didn't vote last time. Yeah,
Okay.
so this has been an interesting podcast. Thank you for coming, Bridget and Owino.
Thank you for having us.